Once upon a time, in the heart of America, there was a notorious stretch of highway known only as Route 66. Tales of eerie encounters and unexplained disappearances surrounded this road, but none were as chilling as the story of the lost trucker. Legend had it that a weary trucker named Jack was driving his rig down Route 66 one stormy night. The rain lashed against the windshield, and thunder roared in the distance, obscuring his vision. Despite his experience, Jack couldn't shake the feeling of unease that gnawed at him. As he pressed on, the road seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness. Signposts became scarce, and the GPS signal vanished without a trace. Jack's radio crackled with static, and the headlights flickered ominously. Suddenly, Jack spotted a figure standing by the roadside, its form shrouded in shadow. A hitchhiker, perhaps? But something about the figure sent shivers down Jack's spine. Ignoring his instincts, he slowed down and rolled down the window. The figure approached, its features obscured by the driving rain. "Need a ride, friend?" Jack called out, his voice quivering slightly. No response. Unease turned to dread as Jack realized the figure had no face, just a gaping void where its features should have been. With a strangled cry, Jack slammed his foot on the accelerator, desperate to escape the nightmare unfolding before him. But no matter how fast he drove, the figure was always there, just beyond the reach of his headlights. Panic surged through Jack as he realized he was trapped on the endless highway, with nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Hours passed like eternity as Jack's sanity frayed at the edges. The landscape twisted and warped, morphing into grotesque shapes that mocked his futile attempts to escape. Exhausted and on the brink of madness, Jack saw a glimmer of hope in the distance, a gas station looming on the horizon like a beacon of salvation. With the last ounce of his strength, Jack steered his rig towards the flickering lights of the gas station. But as he drew closer, he realized it was nothing but a mirage, a cruel trick played by the malevolent forces that ruled the lost highway. Defeated and broken, Jack's rig sputtered to a halt in the middle of the road. In the silence that followed, he heard a whisper carried on the wind, a voice from the void, promising eternal torment for those foolish enough to tread the cursed path of Route 66. And so, legend of the lost trucker lives on, a cautionary tale for those who dare to venture into the darkness of the unknown. For on Route 66, the road to hell is paved with the shattered dreams of the lost and the damned. Deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, there winds a treacherous road known to locals as Widow's Peak Highway, named for the countless lives lost along its unforgiving curves. It's a road haunted by the echoes of tragedy and the whispers of the damned. One moonless night, a trucker named Jake found himself hauling a shipment of goods along Widow's Peak Highway. Despite the warnings of the locals, he pressed on, determined to reach his destination before dawn. As Jake navigated the twisting road, a dense fog descended from the mountains, shrouding the highway in an eerie veil of mist. Visibility dwindled to mere feet, and the shadows seemed to dance in the darkness, beckoning Jake towards an uncertain fate. Suddenly, a figure materialized in the middle of the road, a spectral hitchhiker bathed in an otherworldly glow. Heart pounding, Jake slammed on the brakes, his truck skidding to a halt just inches from the apparition. The hitchhiker's eyes bore into Jake's soul, filled with a haunting sadness that sent shivers down his spine. "Help me," the ghostly figure whispered, its voice carried on the chill wind. Terrified but compelled by an unseen force, Jake stepped out of his truck and approached the hitchhiker. But as he reached out to offer assistance, the figure vanished into thin air, leaving Jake alone in the darkness. Determined to shake off the encounter, Jake climbed back into his truck and continued along the highway. But no matter how far he drove, He couldn't escape the feeling of unease that clung to him like a second skin. As the hours passed, Jake's journey became a descent into madness, with each mile bringing him closer to the heart of darkness that lurked within Widow's Peak Highway. Shadows danced at the edge of his vision, and whispers filled the confines of his cab, driving him to the brink of insanity. Finally, just as dawn broke on the horizon, Jake spotted a faint glimmer of light, a lone gas station standing like a beacon of salvation amidst the desolation of the mountains. With a sigh of relief, he steered his truck towards the promise of safety, desperate to escape the nightmare that had consumed him. But as he approached the gas station, Jake realized with horror that it was nothing but a facade, a cruel trick played by the malevolent forces that ruled Widow's Peak Highway. With a sense of dread unlike any he had ever known, Jake realized he was trapped in a never-ending cycle of torment, doomed to wander the haunted highway for all eternity. And so, as the sun rose on another day, Widow's Peak Highway claimed yet another victim, its secrets buried beneath the weight of sorrow and regret. For on this cursed road, the only way out is through the darkness that dwells within the soul. In the desolate expanse of the Nevada desert, where the night sky stretches endlessly overhead, there lies a forgotten highway known only as Interstate 40. It's a road that few dare to travel, for it harbors secrets darker than the night itself. One fateful night, a trucker named Mike found himself navigating the empty stretches of Interstate 40, his cargo of goods destined for a distant destination. The only company he had was the hum of his engine and the howl of the wind as it whipped across the barren landscape. As the hours ticked by, fatigue began to gnaw at Mike's senses, and the monotony of the road threatened to lull him into a trance. But just as he was about to succumb to sleep, a faint glow appeared on the horizon, a solitary gas station standing like a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. Relieved, Mike steered his rig towards the promise of respite, eager to stretch his legs and refuel both his truck and his weary spirit. But as he approached the gas station, a sense of foreboding gripped him, like a hand tightening around his heart. The gas station appeared deserted, its neon sign flickering erratically in the night. Mike's unease grew with each step he took towards the dimly lit building, his senses on high alert for any sign of danger. Pushing open the creaking door, Mike entered the gas station and was greeted by an eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. The shelves were stocked with dusty goods, and the register sat empty, devoid of life. As Mike made his way to the counter, a chill ran down his spine. Something wasn't right. That's when he heard a faint whisper echoing from the shadows, a voice filled with malice and hunger. With a sinking feeling in his gut, Mike turned to leave, but it was too late. The door slammed shut behind him, sealing his fate within the confines of the gas station. Panic surged through him as he realized he was not alone. From the darkness emerged a figure, its form twisted and contorted into a grotesque semblance of humanity. Eyes gleaming with hunger, it advanced towards Mike, its intentions clear. Trapped and outnumbered, Mike fought for his life against the sinister forces that lurked within the gas station. But no matter how hard he struggled, he could not escape the clutches of the darkness that threatened to consume him. And so, as the first light of dawn broke across the horizon, the gas station stood silent once more, its secrets buried beneath the sands of time. For on Interstate 40, the road to redemption is paved with the souls of those who dare to tread its haunted path.